Yo. Hello, people. Yo, my people. By the way, this is the second time we're doing this because life has a funny way of deleting the piece of work you've done sometimes. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. We don't have a name yet. We'll kind of come up with one. I'm Rocky.
BK.
You get me? And I think, no, actually, I know, not even think, I know you will learn something from even this whole talk that we're going to have. I think, I'm having I already know what I was going to say. I was just going to say, listen, the podcast that we've started or created, the reason why we started this is because we have unique views and the way we look at life is very unique in many ways. So we have many takes of life that people can learn from. And actually, the reason why we started is because a lot of people have always said you should record something or do something or share your knowledge or whatever. So that's what it is. Anyways, we'll get into it. We were talking about many different things before the camera cut off and it deleted everything, but so many good things that we're gonna get into in the next few minutes and in the next hour. So yeah, first of all, who's BK and how and what makes BK? Sit up as well.
Wait.
No, 'cause I looked on the camera earlier. I was literally that's some rat TV. But who's BK basically? How and what makes BK BK? How do you think about things?
Oh, okay. Alright then. So, I think everyone would probably say ambitious. Very ambitious person, innit? Ambitious. Ambitious but realistic. I know it's a long journey. Said on the JCY. You gotta be realistic on your journey, innit, to wherever you wanna go in life. So I know a lot about that, the realistic journey. Another thing probably say is open-minded on certain topics. Open-minded.
Yeah, is curious, and we were talking about the importance of curiosity, but
always got a question mark and everything. Always suspicious of everything and people.
Yeah, exactly.
People I'm suspicious of.
Exactly 100. But and then I said earlier, I said as well, but basically, very similar to BK. That's why we connect with one another. That's why our team connects with one another so well. But I think to say distinctively, I'm more of a philosopher. So yeah, I'm open-minded and all these things. But I think if I had to say what's the difference between me and BK, is that I'm more philosophical about things. I think things through and I make a meaning out of a lot of things that do have meaning, but people don't necessarily think of them that way. And that's the main thing for me. But yeah, 100% of open-minded. You know, also BK is one of the most disciplined guy I've met. You know what I'm saying? Overall, like, if he wants it, he wants it, and that's what you need to have. That's one thing you need to have as a character within yourself and in your team. So I always admire that about BK. And yeah, we're just two guys and a whole team of us anyway as well that are trying to make it out of whatever situation and trying to make something of ourselves. So I think, I know you will enjoy the journey. I know that you enjoy the wisdom that will be shared throughout the journey as well. And also it's an important thing to do because we're only as young and old as we are today. There is no such thing as the past, really, in a sense of we can't go back to the past. It's just what we have today, and we can't go in the future. We can't say I'm 100 years older now than what I am, or 100 days older. No, I'm just what I am today. So yeah, that's why it's very good. The importance of it is that you can look back and go, wow, that was me at, you get it, at this age or that age or this time. So yeah. But anyways, we did have a list of everything we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna go and flip the script around because we already went through the whole order chronologically and they're all cut off. So BK, to start us off.
Well, as we were already talking about it before the camera cut off, fear and the importance of confidence, because that's already kind of still fresh in our minds. I think we should probably just go off that again.
So we're talking about two different things, right? But they're very similar. I mean, they're intertwined. So fear and the importance of confidence, right? So first, what is confidence, BK? What would you say?
Confidence, how I would say it is knowing that you're able to do what you want to do. Kind of what's a better way of saying it? So like, okay, let's say an example is this an artist. What?
I was gonna say you okay, G? Okay, go on.
Okay, cool. Let's say as a musician, this is actually his example that he did when the thing cut out.
That's so weird,
artists
because of the door as well.
on the stage, artists on the stage, performing in front of 10 people. Now the next time he might have to perform, will he have the confidence, or should he actually have the confidence to actually perform in the next like amount of people? So it could be a high number. So it's kind of thing like, oh, that person does have the confidence to perform in front of 100, 200, 300 people, 400. The numbers keep going up. So that's an example I would use.
Yeah. So as BK was saying, basically what we were saying before is there's two types. I was saying to BK and you lot as well. There's two types. There's deluded,
false.
yeah,
false
and there's one from experience.
Yeah.
So evidence-based confidence.
Yeah.
So you decide. I mean, you decide which one you get really, and sometimes it can be slightly both, because we were saying about I was saying about Mike Tyson. I always use that example because it's the truth. Like someone could watch Mike Tyson and never boxed in their life, and now think, wait, I could go, you get it, go to the boxing gym, and now I could spot AJ, Anthony Joshua, or whoever, someone who's done it for longer than me and has actual experience. Or you have the confidence, which is from the experience, from doing something and going through trials and errors, and also succeeding in something, however small, and gradually building upon that. So, for example, sometimes actually, sometimes the deluded part or the delusion is not the worst thing that can happen to you in a sense of confidence, because it always depends on the spectrum. If you're too delusional, then you believe you're a god at whatever you're doing, you get it, like you think so extreme about one. And then there's that spectrum where you're deluded enough where it's still minor compared to the comparison to the biggest delusion, but it's enough to give you courage, to make you go there, because you feel like you might be able to beat that person, to beat them. But then deep down, because you haven't got true confidence, that you're not going to be able to beat someone who's way better at you, better than you, better than you at boxing, because you never boxed before. So the biggest thing is you want to have that delusion to have enough confidence, to have enough courage to go and try it, get your ass kicked, and then you go, it's the attitude of it. You go, you know what? I didn't die from it. It's okay. I will go again. Go on, G.
The confidence to bounce back.
The confidence to bounce back. Yeah, you go, okay, it happens, and you can keep going. And then you want the real confidence. The real confidence is evidence-based. You've gone, I've tried this and it's worked. So let me try something that's bigger than this, or something else that's similar to this, or continue my journey. So, you could have, and we were just using about the music, right? You go, no one is confident truly to go from just being like, let's say, a rapper on the street to now 10,000 people. Like nobody, like unless you're deluded to that spectrum where you believe you're a god and you can do anything. But the true confidence is from you start small and then you gradually build up from from each experience, from the evidence. So you start off with 10 people, and then 100 people, and 1,000 people, and then gradually why can't you do 10,000 people? If now you've done 9,000 people venue, 8,000 people venue, why can't you do 10,000 if you succeeded the other times? And also with the trials and tribulations of things and the trials and errors, you've gone, okay, you might have failed one time, or however many times, you might have failed it, but then you go, wait a second, I've learned from it. What can I take from it to learn so I can try again? And once you try it again, you might have won this time and it succeeded. Now you go, what can I do next? And you keep going, and that's what true confidence is. So how do you get it? Just doing things, trying things out, and continuing. Have enough faith that it will work out. That's the biggest thing. So, you know, because when people say confident, it's usually like the demeanor, the way that people dress, the way they act, and whatever. But it's from one of those two, either deluded confidence delusion, or real confidence from experience and evidence-based experience. So evidence that you've done something. For example, women, right? I mean, men approaching women. If someone's confident, it's because they've either now just like talked to themselves in such a way they think they are, you get a Casanova or whatever, or they think they're Andrew Tate, or they go, actually, I've talked to X amount of girls before. It's been okay. When I failed, it's okay. I've tried again, and now I've succeeded. And I've succeeded, and it can be small. But then it's like, that adds up in the long run. And then you have confidence from that. You go, okay, now I can go up to a girl because I know, looking back in memory, I've done it X amount of times. So I can do it. You get me? So that's what the biggest things like. And also, we were talking earlier on as well about the importance of confidence, but we were saying about, you know, just overall, like BK gave a good point about sometimes with confidence, you know, you're confident at one thing, yeah, but you're missing the information to get to the other. So you have to know that you have to be realistic with yourself. You have to go, I may only be confident to this point, and then I need to go further than that. But I'm missing the information to get to that. And gradually you get to that. Because you can't go, I've got confidence in, I was saying about the Formula 1 driver, you get me? Like, I was saying about, you might have confidence because you drive well on the road, normal road. You drive really well, you can drive well. But doesn't mean you now have the confidence, the true confidence and experience to go and drive Formula 1. That's a whole different type of confidence you need to have to get to that. But you can get to that, but it's gradual because you're missing the information to get to that. So seek the information. But I think I'll let BK say it, because you said it in a better way than I did at that time. I'll come back to me. Shall I come back to you then? Yeah. Okay. So, but basically that's what it is, right? You can't go. Sometimes you're confident at one thing, and you need to know that it doesn't mean now you're confident in everything, or to the highest pedigree or whatever it is. I might be confident with speaking. So, go on.
Whoa. Okay, no, I think what I said was to be confident to collect the information. So I mean, in like you stay behind kind of thing. You know, when everyone else leaves, you're confident. It's like you're confident enough to stay behind, have that one-to-one. Look, not on the flipping weird stuff, but like, look into that, like
to get the information, one-to-one. That's what it is.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because you were confident enough. It's like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I kind of heard what you're saying, but I'm lacking in like one area. I don't really exactly understand about it. But to have confidence to stay behind and then get that one-on-one, it'll become more clear.
I get what BK is saying as well. So basically, it's like, I may be good at this thing right now, right? But I need to be confident enough to search for that information from you, or not from you, but as in search for the information or attain the information, get it from that person. So going, I need to have enough courage to go, you know more, so let me get it from you. So that's the one thing as well. 100% with confidence. So in life, you either have it from one or the other, but you got to know which one you have. That's one thing I've realized, because if you don't know which one you've got, actually you'll know anyway, because you know.
If you have delusion.
If you have delusion, if you're deluded, or if you're truly confident because you have experience, because you know if you have experience or not. You can't lie to yourself about that. I mean, delusion is basically that, but truly, you can't really lie to yourself. You'll know deep down, because it's just that the delusion is so powerful because you're thinking about what someone else has done, and then you're thinking that you can do that. That's what's making you crazy to do it. You get me?
Do you think like being so hungry for it and doing well also comes into like your confidence?
Yeah, because I think, okay, so confidence itself, it's probably I was saying before, by the way, people watching at home or wherever, I'm looking to see because at the TV over there, because like I said before, we did a whole such a good talk and then it will disappear. You get me? Some juju. But yeah, basically, I was saying about the confidence. I was saying it's a coalescing of self-talk, self-belief in a sense of like what you want to attain, who you are, believe in that, and also the vision, and also who you are. I mean, and also experience. I think that's the main four, like self-talk, self-belief, your the vision and experience. It's a coalescing. It's all of them in one, and then it makes you become who you are. You get me? Now you're confident because the thing is, look at it like this. Yeah, what if you have the experience, but you're saying to yourself, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do it again. I can't do that. Like that's what happens though as well. We didn't say that before actually. It's a good point because you go, you go. I may have the experience, but what now? My mentality has changed where I'm saying to myself, you can't do that. You can't do that, and you won't do it. You don't have the confidence now. So if you say to yourself, you've done that before, it worked out, and you can still do it. You can still keep going, and you believe it. You know the belief is there, and you see it. That's what it is, and you become it. You become that confidence. You get me? That's what confidence is. But I don't think I hear many people say it like that. What confidence is? They just say have confidence. Like, what is it then?
Yeah,
big man. You get me?
I think a lot. You know, like a lot of them gurus or whatever. They say confidence, but they don't really explain it down to the detail.
I think that's one big thing you're gonna learn from me and BK. You get me? It's like we're two young men that are curious, and we simplify it. Even though it's complex with certain things, we simplify it so we understand it. And because we can do that for ourselves, you can learn from that. So, like I said, confidence is a coalescing of self-belief, self-talk, vision, and vision and I said one more, but I forgot now.
What, loyalty to your master? Oh no,
yeah, that's different. Whichever way, self-talk, self-belief, vision, and experience. There you go. Experience, vision, self-talk, and self-belief. All in that, whichever order, doesn't really matter. But it's a coalescing of all of them. So if you know that, how do you talk to yourself? Are you talking positively to yourself? Yes or no? Yes, okay, good. Then you go, belief. Do you believe you can do it? Do you have that belief of what could happen? The faith that it will work out? And then, do you have the vision? Can you visualize it? Because that's an important thing. If you don't have vision for something, or you can't visualize it happening in that way, it's going to make you panic when it doesn't work out. You get me? So that, and then, do you have the experience beforehand? Because if you have the experience beforehand, then now you're truly confident. So that's the number one thing. Anything to add to that, BK? Okay. But I think that's the number one thing though, the importance of confidence. Why is it important? Because if you don't have confidence, then you're never going to go and try for something. You never have the courage to try for things. So first start from being delusional to some extent, that small amount, to make you courageous, so that you may fail, but you tried it. You get me? Like, you want to be able to try it at least. And if you don't, sometimes the fear is so overwhelming that you just won't try it. You get me? So you have to have enough delusion to believe you can. And yeah, I mean, even study someone like Mike Tyson. I'll say that because Mike Tyson was basically, like, this mentor basically caused a whole massive amount of delusion. But the delusion worked out because he had all the other things aligned. And he just kept working at it until the delusion became actual tangible evidence. Oh, you beat this person that was better than you. Now you beat that other person who's better than you. You get me? That was quote unquote better than you, what I mean. Like you beat them. Now you know you can go for the highest. But all the other things align. So now you can go from delusion to real actionable and every real tangible experience that you've gained and evidence from it. But yeah, that's the number one thing as well, I'm saying. So the importance is it'll get you further in life. Everything comes down to confidence, how you carry yourself. But the way you carry yourself is from all those things. You get me? Like you can carry yourself with confidence, yeah, if you know how to fight. It makes sense though, because you've been in the trenches. So what's the next average person gonna do to you who doesn't train? Not much really if you're a good fighter. So you carry yourself in that way. You get me? Because you know what you've done. So that's the number one thing. Anything to add? But what else we go on to next, really? Because we were talking about all the other stuff.
What fear?
Fear itself, yeah, we could say.
That leads to
yeah, true fear. Because that's true. Because if I was saying as well about the other, if the fear is overwhelming, it will just, you're not gonna get confidence. Like, you're not. It's just gonna be overwhelming to the point where you just. I think it's innate. No, it's like it's the word for like you don't do anything. You're like no action at all. Whichever way, it's a word anyway. You get me?
What, idle?
Yeah, I say idle. Yeah, but it's like innate or something like that. That's another word. We're keeping it real here. You get me? Although intelligence is one thing, but knowing words is one other thing as well. You get me? You could be not even that intelligent and just know words. You get me? But anyways, yeah. So it means if you have enough, if you have too much fear, and it overwhelms you, you're just never gonna do anything in life, because it's just gonna be to the point where you don't even have enough courage to try things. So yeah. So what is fear? What would you say is fear?
So
is it real as well, or is it just a feeling, or what would you say?
Not, I was about to say it's a false image, not a false image, but it's like it's like a what do you call it? It's like, I was about to say it's almost like a poison kind of thing. People putting it into your head. If you get what I'm saying, like poison makes your body feel weak and that. Now, if someone's telling you
analogy, yeah, it's a good analogy.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like almost like the people of like speaking to you and then just feeding your brain or your heart or whatever, your mind, with poison in it. So as I said in the JCY podcast, it's the other podcast with the man them.
Yeah, the journey continues yearly.
Yeah, the journey continues
yearly. Jigga J,
Dice, PB, Mr. Patrick.
And the nasty Rocky and BK.
Yeah, so as I said, that example, our old colleague, our old college
lecturer, tutor, whatever.
We were saying some things that we wanted to try out on the side and like pursue it, innit? Because we were like really passionate about it, and it was like we were actually putting in hours into the studio as well, kind of thing. And then what happened was, he then told us about how he was. Oh, sorry. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Jesus.
So he told us how he was when he was younger and how it didn't work out. How he put all his hours into it and he basically failed and everything. And then he was just saying, like, for us, it won't work out. Oh, look at me. It didn't work out when I was young. It didn't work out when I was young. Why would it work out for you? Kind of thing, innit?
Which is funny because it's based on his evidence of what he failed at, and then he's trying to say, it's going to be the same.
And now that leads back to poison. Exactly. People feed your mind poison and that then turns into fear, and then that then like literally decreases your confidence. It all entwines together.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like another analogy. Like that's why I say fear is like poison, innit? Fear is poison. Now another thing is this. I don't want to say it again. Look, ain't no gang leader, nothing. Look, I'm clean and all that stuff. But handcuffs, man. Handcuffs.
Yes, handcuffs, it's true.
If you ever been in handcuffs don't like them, do you?
No,
I don't like them. No freedom. You're waiting for them to they're in charge of your next move, kind of thing, if you get what I'm saying. Your next outcome. And that's what handcuffs are. You have no freedom in handcuffs until they release the handcuffs. Then you're free. So how I would say it is, fear is like almost having handcuffs. So it's like, let's say one of our boys, JJ. I'm just saying, he does YouTube. He's brilliant editor, everything. He's got talent for everything. I'm just saying this. It's like, I'm saying him as an example. It's almost like let's say he had handcuffs on him. He has no freedom to do it. He will never touch the keyboard to edit or play whatever game and put out content for his fans, because he's got the handcuffs on. the handcuffs equals the fear, and that literally holds you back. You have no freedom when you have fear. Do you know what I'm saying? So
It's true.
that's another.
Yeah, it's a limitation. It limits
Yeah,
you. You can't get out of it. 100. Because we were saying on the, I was saying to Beak, I think I said on the JCY podcast, I was saying to, I think I said it to Jigga J, I think I said it to him, all of you anyway, but I was saying how limitations themselves, yeah, what are they? That there is no such thing truly as a limitation. Now someone could say, yeah, but there is, like, yes, to some extent, because that's just how life works. There are some things you can't just fly. You get it, all these things, it doesn't make sense. That's a limitation. But if you look at most limitations of life, they're from other people's fears and insecurities projected onto you. For example, as you said, Kieran, like you were saying, oh, are you gonna try that? Are you sure you wanna? Are you sure? Because I failed. Are you sure you can succeed at it? And it's like, well, who are you to say to me, you get it, like, oh, I can't or can do that, or that I will fail? Because it's not even that, and usually it's not even directly, it's indirectly. Are you sure you can do that? It's instilling doubt into you, and then that creates a limitation in your brain. You think, I can't do that. I always say about like money as well. I said, you know, you say to someone, I want to make 100,000. Now, a lot of people that I've actually met and spoken to, growing up, really, not nowish, I would say, growing up, they were like, 100K, that's a lot. I'm going, yeah, but there's people making 100 million. You get it? There must be a belief system that's different. So, part of me, I was saying, like, basically, that with these people, they make you now feel like the 100,000 a year is a big and, you know, a big milestone that's too hard to reach. Are you sure you can get to that? That's a lot. You know how much you have to make to, like, you get it, a month or whatever to, and it's like, well, how do you know that I can't do that? How do you know if it's really that hard? You never tried it in the first place, but you projected your insecurity onto me and your fear of trying it onto me. And now I think, because we're social beings, especially BK was saying before that, if it's someone close to you, if they've got enough influence towards you, then it's like, oh, maybe I should respect what they're saying. But not realizing that what they're saying is their own fears projected onto you. Or sometimes not a hatred, I think it's more, or envy maybe, like, I don't know, some people are envious 100%, but you go, why would someone say that to me? But usually it's because of fear of the fear that they have, and it's something that they want to say it to you because they think they're helping you, but they're not. You get me? They feel like, oh, I should tell you that it's very hard to make that, maybe for you, but anyways, that's what we're saying. So limitations themselves are usually other people's fears and insecurities projected onto you, and then you now made a limitation out of them, you know, what they've said to you, and you've created a barrier that you feel like you can't overcome.
And it's also, the limitations also when it's like, you know, when if you've done it, so let's say a song, like this is an example, we've gone studio, something like that, and now it's like this, where, alright, maybe we haven't told anyone that, this is an example, maybe we haven't told anyone that we've gone studio, but we've got a song out, and I actually do have plans to probably push it out or something like that, yeah. So now you're listening back to it now, and it's like, I don't know, maybe somehow you've come into like a delusional, realistic kind of imagery in your head, where you visioned where it's like people will dislike it. Now that leads to that's another concept of fear. So now you're thinking like, oh, will these lot actually like it? Wait, does this sound right? Oh no, it's like, I think maybe I should do it again. It's like, actually no, now I don't want to do it now, kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's another.
I'm thinking more like as well. Think of the people that made a new sound. Now, how many people would have said to them, "Are you sure you want to try that?" Like, no one's doing that. You get it? Like I'm thinking that right now. Like most people would have feared that because they're scared of what people think about them. So they think, if I'm scared, you probably would be scared, wouldn't you? Is that no? Doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it's just like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You doing that?
Are you doing that? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing like that, yeah.
100%. That's so basically limitations or whatever. Be careful of. I was saying on JCY's podcast. So on the JCY podcast, I was saying be careful of the influences around you. You know, because they can heighten the fear to a big extent, or they can lessen the fear, and that's also a key thing. So if you're not careful, you just never know at that point. So limitations of people's fears and insecurities projected onto you, and fear, it's a feeling really. It's a feeling, but if you're rational about things, most things are not as scary as they seem to be, and usually the fear is created out of an external and influential source that is not within you really. You know, and I was saying earlier about you know, when I say earlier, I meant like in the first hour we did that got deleted. I was saying how kids don't really have that much fear. The true meaning of fear, like they don't really have that. And I was saying about some kids. Of course, I was saying we're talking about like I was saying, some like a kid will go to an edge of the cliff. You were saying, I said they wouldn't jump because of instincts. The instinct in them would say don't jump and go back. BK said they'll probably jump. Most likely, some kids. Yes.
Some kids are crazy.
But to be honest, but why? Because they have no fear.
Yeah,
they think they can do it.
Yeah.
Until somebody says, don't do that. Now with the cliff, don't jump, of course. You get me? But that could be a ledge that's like this tall, like, you know, like whatever tall, however tall it is, 3 foot tall, and they're just small. But if the person's saying, no, are you sure you want to do that? Now that 3 feet is gonna end up being something else in life, because it's just how we, us human beings, we take everything from our childhood. That's the biggest thing I've learned. That we take everything from our childhood. A lot of the things anyway. That, you know, that's what makes or breaks us. You know, at that point. But yeah, I was saying how most kids would have used the instinct to just. I didn't use the analogy right this time. I was saying like about the kid going to the edge and going, like, I don't know if I should jump this. The instincts, right? You should always trust your instincts. But with other things in life, I was saying about earlier. I was saying about we went to the zoo, right? Not me and BK, but me and my brother-in-law and my sister and everything. We went to the zoo, but my nephews were there. One's too small to like properly speak, but the other one's like, you know, a good stage of life where he's confident because he's tried things that he tries them, and he believes he can do it, right? And we went to the zoo, and there was dinosaurs in this zoo, not actual real ones, but it was something they added to bring more people in, right? Business minded people just thought, you know what, people would go to see dinosaurs as well at the zoo, whatever. So he started roaring, like as in like, you know, going roar, like, and I was like, that's cool. Because when you're young, you're not thinking about the next person. And me, I was like, do it again. Little man, do it again. You get me? And I was like, but why? Because it teaches him from young, don't allow other people's fears and insecurities influence you to not do it yourself. You know, that's the biggest thing. Because I was saying to BK, if it was one of us, right? And there's bare people there, like there's loads of people there. There's no nephews, no little man there. It's like just me and you. Let's say, would you roar out loud? I'll be worried. I'll be like, wait a second, BK, you good? But anyway, let's say you're by yourself. But the answer is no. Like on a usual, normal human being, there would not be like roar in front of everybody because we think we're scared. You get it? Actually, someone who hasn't got any fear will just do it anyway. But that's a whole different scenario anyway. That's just lunatic. You get me to do that. But regardless, it shows you. But even then, you have to admire the lunatic. In a sense of when I say lunatic, I mean like, someone who doesn't mind saying things out loud, like at any point, and like being loud. You know the people that. I was on the phone to you, remember? And I was walking on I was going home from my uni, and there was a guy just singing out loud, and I was like laughing because out loud, like Michael Jackson, like out loud, and I was like, wow, like I think there was something wrong with him. Bless him, you get me? But yeah, it's just interesting. I admired that. How many of us would have done that? Not many at all. But he's living in a life where he hasn't got many limitations at that stage, like at that point or whatever, with certain things. There's no limitation in that. He's like, what's limiting me? What's stopping me from doing this out loud? You get it? There's no influence that's doing that. So let me do it. But anyways, that's what it means. So when I was seeing my nephew and I was like, you know, I was encouraging him to roar. It's to teach him a lesson that don't worry about what other people think about you, because that's the biggest thing. We don't do things, and we do things because of people's influences, right? Because most of us are weak. You get me? Like, that's a whole different topic. But most of us are weak-minded, and that's how I reflected on. I was like, wow, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have roared in the middle of, even if I was with my sister, there was no nephews. I would have never roared out loud because I am thinking about what other people are thinking, which is crazy. So that's the number one thing. Limitation is that. Fear is basically limitation from the other people, and you created something big out of it, and now it's changed your life because you're not doing what you want to do. And yeah, boom. So that's why it's important to be confident, try things, have courage, and you know, boom. I digress. So anything else to say?
Fear's poison.
Fear's a poison. Yeah, that's number one. I had to take that as well. Fear's a poison.
Fear's a poison.
But BK will pick another topic. I'm checking to see the camera's still rolling. It is. Basically, we spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about.
Okay, cool. Aspect of thinking outside the box. Thinking inside the box doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. So the importance of thinking outside of the box instead of just boxing your thinking. I was gonna say a little bit mad, did it? Boxing your thinking, but as in containing your limiting yourself at that point. So the importance of thinking outside of the limits, outside of whatever's just there, outside of the box, as they say. That's very important. Why? BK, you touch upon that first, and I'm gonna jump in. Why is it important to think outside the box compared to just looking at one thing and just doing it that way?
Well, look at all the rich people.
The rich people,
they've all thought outside the box. These are most of them inventions that you think about that they've done. The normal person, did the normal person even think of them? No, I didn't think of them. I mean, even though I wasn't born when Bezos made Amazon, but you know what I'm saying. It was outside of the box, kind of thing, and then it was Amazon was a bookstore.
Bookstore,
Now it's
everything. Now it's everything.
It's everything. They don't even know what to call it. It's everything.
They've got a. I remember going to Wembley and they have a store where like you can buy
Amazon Fresh.
Yeah. And I was like, what? And the fact that they know, like, to me, was so fascinating that they've got cameras that track your movements.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's outside the box thinking. Like, that was mental. And they, you don't pay like by going to the cashier. You pay by just scanning in your code from Amazon, and then it takes whatever you walk out with already tracked you.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what ingenuity you have, that innovation.
Now that's thinking outside the box, not inside.
But why is it important? Why is it important? Even if you're in a career, why should you always think like, oh, I need to think outside the box? What can I do to be thinking outside the box?
Maybe one over your...
I'll come back. He's having a stroke. You get me? So let me go back to BK. So as you can clearly see, that's there. You know, Monque? Have you seen that? Anyways, he's a guy on Instagram. He's like, as you can see, anyways. But yeah, I think I'm having a stroke as well now. I think we're both. But anyways, we're just saying about the importance of check again. I would have stroke.
Is it? Oh. Yo, what the hell just happened? It's the aspect of thinking outside of the box. And then thinking inside the box doesn't get you anywhere. That's what it was.
We're gonna. This is just real as it comes. You know them ones, because you know what it is. People out there, I hope you like it as well, because it's kind of like I'm speaking to the camera, but forget there's people that are going to be watching. But we did this earlier, as I said, and we laid it out. It was so good, and then my phone, I'm just watching it now there, my phone just didn't save anything. It just died, and we just talking, but regardless. Anyways, the importance of thinking outside the box. Why it's important? Because it's true. If you look at just life overall, ingenuity, the innovation, of things came from someone thinking, what can I do different? Or what can I do to make it different? Henry Ford said, right? He said, if you ask the people, they say that they don't know if he actually really said it, but to me, if he said it, whatever, the concept is what's the key.
Yeah.
He said, if you ask the people what they wanted in those times, they would have said a faster horse or faster horses. He created a car, a machinery that's able to drive people. That's like ingenuity. You get me? So you go, why is that important, and what concept can I take out of that? That most people don't know what they want, first of all. Consumers don't know what they want. And second of all, you gotta be courageous enough to think outside of that, or whatever people want. You get me? Because we may have thought we would just make a faster horse. How do we make the horse faster? He thought a whole different concept. You get me? So the importance of thinking outside the box is that it puts away the limitation, the concept of limitation. It allows you to be free, and that's the main thing. And it's important because if everybody's thinking linear and straightforward thinking, how can you beat the competition? If you're just still thinking, unless you're the cleverest person, you're gonna have to think outside the box. And that's what being clever is, thinking outside of the box. And all the problems that have been solved are thinking outside the box. Because no true ingenuity came from, like no true big change in ingenuity came from just thinking straight that problem. Like that's what it is. How do we fix that instead of how do we make a whole different concept out of it? That's what it is. So why is it important? What would you say? I just said it because it allows you to be free and create bigger.
If it's in business terms, no, sorry. Yeah, if it's in business terms, it gets you one over the not opponent. I mean,
yeah, one up on the competition.
I was about to start talking about war.
No, it's true as well. War.
I mean, yeah. Let's say who was it? Which general was it that thought of the flanking system?
Napoleon. Well, Napoleon.
Wait, who did he get that off from? Or was he just thought that?
He got it from different people, like maybe I think Frederick the Great, but it was I think like Sun Tzu and stuff like that. So he read on other generals regardless. On top of my head right now, I can't think of it, but he revolutionized that system to make it and adapt it in his own way outside of the box, and that's how he won most of the wars. Small forces, flank, and then envelop the competition.
So if he didn't do that and didn't think outside the box,
no, he would have never been Napoleon.
And he would never been that
the Napoleon.
high standard guy.
And how we got to that actually, the importance of it. He would read a lot of first of all, he understood what was linear because he read so much. So he understood this is what's happening in history already. What can I do to go outside of that and still win? And in when he was in war, he started off as a soldier, right? But he then, when there was times to kind of show outside of the box thinking, he actually did it. He had enough confidence from prior experiences, first from being delusional to try it, and then, as I said, from experience. So once he won that first battle, from thinking outside the box, he tried it again and again. And the more he tried it, the more responsibility came to him. And the more responsibility, the higher you go in life. You get me? So that's what it means to be, that's the importance of, as Beaky was saying, of thinking outside the box. Because even in war, if you're not thinking outside the box, you're going to lose. Because they're thinking linear, you're thinking linear. Now, actually, doesn't mean you'll lose. It just means that the odds are now
higher.
I mean, no, they're more leveled, which is not good. That's like a 50-50. I don't want it to be 50-50.
Oh, are you talking about if you're...
win or lose? As in, like, the odds of me winning...
No. Are you talking about if you're thinking the same...
Yeah, you're thinking linear. If you're thinking linear...
Yeah.
If you're thinking straightforward and just that is even. Exactly. It's 50-50. If you think outside the box, the edge goes up. The percentage goes up and the odds go up. The number goes up. Now it might be a 60-40 or the 70-30, whatever it is in your head that you want to put. There's no true calculation to it. It's just what it is, right? But yeah. So if you had to summarize it, why is it, and how do we think outside the box? What would you say?
Probably looking in the past of what other creators done. Really, no, sorry. When you're talking,
I think it's would you say would you say it's something that's like a tool, like thinking outside the box, something you can do with tools? Is it more mind frame, a mental thing, like a
Mind
characteristic.
Ooh,
I would say, for me, I would say it's a mind frame. And because you look at a problem and then you go, the most linear way to think about this is this. How could I approach it differently? That's what it is. How can I do something that's slightly different to go over this obstacle? You know? And then once you start thinking like that, more ideas pop through. More solutions or ideas that could turn into solutions appear. They're ideas anyway, but
when you say that though, I've had clients on it, and it's like the problems they've come to me for, and I've looked at their website or maybe their whole system or whatever, yeah, and I'm thinking. So I've said it to my mentor. I'm saying this to him. I was like, yeah, but when you put this there, when you have photos there, like. But he's like, yeah, but them lot are just thinking normal. They're not thinking outside. It's not even outside of the box for me though. It's just
differently.
simple.
Oh, yeah.
For me. But if I when I said it to them, it was like, oh, I never thought of it like this. I never attacked it that way.
I think because you do it so much, it's now normal. You get what I'm trying to say? You're already thinking with things outside of the box because you are like that. I know how BK is. He's always thinking, how can I do it differently? But it's subconscious now. You don't think about, you do ask yourself, how do I get there? But the actions are very much it's just actions now. Instead of just really thinking, it's more, okay, it seems like this, try that. It's much more simple in that way. You get me? Like you can do it straight ahead, straightforward for you now. But to get to that, you got to believe, how can I do this differently? And try things. You get me? Try something that's completely opposite sometimes. Because you just never know. I was saying earlier before, I was saying basically like, life is never just one thing. You know? It's like, it's different things. That's why you got to try things. You know, we're talking, in that aspect, we're talking about careers, decisiveness basically we're talking about. But yeah, so overall, why it's important overall to think outside the box, because you get sometimes not just solutions but better solutions than if you didn't think outside the box, because you'll get solutions even if you think straightforward, but they might not be better or long lasting as if you thought outside the box. Now there's always yes, you should think outside the box. Sometimes don't. It depends on scenarios.
Yeah.
If it doesn't seem like it's working, try outside the box. And also, if you want to think of something maybe quickly, so think, oh, straight and linear, and then if it's not working out, outside the box. You get me? It's also okay. I'll give you an example, right? So this goes down to, we were talking about this earlier on, but there's the law of inversion, or the rule of inversions. If you can't think of a problem quickly, you invert it, right? So I wrote it down. Remember I say to you was like, how do you get a good life? That's a question you can ask yourself. How do I get a good life? Now that's straightforward. How do I get a good life? But outside the box thinking would be inversion. How do I not get a good life? How do I get a bad life? And that's what outside the box thinking is, because you might think of solutions quicker. Or you do both. You think first linear, like I said, and then you do the outside box thinking. Because you're trying to think, here's what I can do linear, or here's what I can do straightforward and going direct to it. And here's what I can do if I fall outside of it. And that's what you got to do. So you can go, how do I get a bad life? How do I get a good life? Work hard, study hard, and then you go, how do I not get a good life? How do I get a bad life? Smoke, like you get it, not work out. You get me? Don't read. Don't listen to people that are smarter than you. All these things, whatever it is, you think, and then you can put them together. That's how you be clever. Because some people just do one or the other. And I think actually that's a good point overall of being a coalescing of many things. Being smart and clever to put one thing and another thing and put it together. That's what it is. Because if you look actually, to go on to that, if you look at the most successful people, they're usually an adaptation of all the other greats in like together, and then they created something original out of that. You get it? Like I'm trying to think who else. Like even like for example Tesla, right? It wasn't Elon Musk's idea. He bought it off the people. It wasn't his idea. He didn't make that. He bought it off the people, and then he made something out of it because but he used their idea. Doesn't always mean you got to think. But it's not the greatest example or the greatest analogy, but it's like Napoleon, for example. You were talking about Napoleon, but he studied all the greats and then made his own originality out of all the other greats and all their ideologies and put it together. But anyways, that's the importance of thinking outside the box. Why? Because it allows you to think of solutions that you may not have thought about before. Not just that, but in a much interesting fashion, and maybe longer lasting than just straightforward. And how do you get to that? Question a lot of it. So you go, why? Why is it happening? Why is it? Be curious and be courageous enough to think about things, to try them. You get me? Try different things and always think, how can I do it differently? How can I try this? How can I try that? And of course you can do that straightforward as well, but it's like in a deeper way, and thinking, how can I try it in such a way that's so interesting? And that's one way to do it as well. You get me? For example, osteopathy, are saying to like an osteopath or chiropractor or whatever, if you can't think of a solution in that way, maybe read about engineers, read about architects, and from there take their ideology and utilize that in osteopathy or chiropractic or whatever, or in law utilize business acumens or whatever, you know what I mean, other people's like business attributes, and try and use that in yours and see if you can think of a solution based on the business knowledge or whatever. But anyways, boom, I think that's what you should do anyway, in that sense. You get me?
I'm having something from the last
the last one, yeah.
Curiosity enables you to find the answer.
Yeah, curiosity. Why is it important to be curious? I was going on a bit more of a tangent earlier on, in the sense of like being curious about everything. You should be anyway, because you don't lose anything if you know about a lot of things. You don't lose anything. What did you lose? Time to some extent, but you never know what that knowledge could do for you. You know, if you're curious about everything, you never know what that knowledge could do for you, because everything kind of. Hence why I say I'm more a philosopher, because I try to get a meaning out of everything. Like if there's a tree that's been there for the longest time, there's a reason. There is actually a reason for that. Why the roots as well. The roots are bigger, they're longer. Why? There's always a why. But if you're not curious, you would have never looked at that and gone, why? You get what I'm trying to say? And I was saying earlier, basically, how I got that about the curiosity thing. It was my mentor, and in the car he was telling me about the trees. Bear in mind, he's not a weirdo about the trees and all these things. He's actually a very rich person, like wealthy. I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's unfathomable, like how much money he's made. And he was like telling me about that tree, that thing there. The lesson was, be curious about everything, and also don't be stupid. That's the number one thing, because if you're stupid, you'll just take it what it is and you just deal with little things and just no. If you're curious, you go, why is it like this? Why is it like this? Even in your career, you go, it's like some people are just happy with what it is. But it was saying about uni and stuff. It was saying about, like, you know, in uni you're meant to be curious, even in life overall. But let's say university, where you're learning, right? You go, the teacher will give you what it is, and now it's your turn to go and have a look deeper into that. Why? Why is it happening? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Always asking why. That's the number one thing. Like, and we were saying about Wayne, saying the 5 whys or whatever. And yeah, like always asking why will give you a thorough and more broadened aspect of knowledge, because you get to understand so many more complexities, and then those complexities can be added to the other complexities because they may make sense in some way, but you would have never got to that if you never asked why to everything. Anyways, you okay? You okay?
I'm fine.
But go on, G. Like, you got anything else to say about why it's important to be curious?
No.
Caught him out. Okay, he's asleep right now. He's basically asleep. That's how he sleeps. His eyes open. But yeah. Anyways, that's the importance of curiosity, because the importance, simply, it allows you to have a deeper and broadened aspect of knowledge, because you're always willing and actually, the simplest way to put it is, right, if you see a nice car outside and it's not yours, it's someone else's, if you aren't curious, you just walk past it. I don't care about it. No, like, yeah, I'll just go past it. If you're curious, you might have, no, actually, it will give you enough courage to go and ask. You good? Yeah, but basically, it will give you enough courage to go and ask and say, excuse me, do you, well, I would say sir anyway, excuse me sir, like, what do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking? Like, I love the car, I really admire it, what do you do? And now you've gotten information you would have never gotten before. You gotta say something, you gotta say something though.
No, no, you know what it is?
Possessed.
No, you know what it is? Because we spoke about it for like a good 30-20 minutes before. It's like, I'm trying to remember what the hell we said.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So,
brains
like,
fried.
the only thing I literally remembered from the whole conversation of curiosity is literally, curiosity enables you to, see, I don't know, I forgot it. Curiosity enables you to find the answer. That's the line. Curiosity enables you to find the answer. That's literally the only thing I remember.
Yeah, the deeper root of the cause, or the biggest solution, or the better solution you'll get out of being curious, because you get to understand.
I think, okay, cool. Oh! Alright, so there's one, I think, if you want to put that into play, then one example is, I don't manage him. He's my older brother, rapper, Risky. So,
shout out to Risky as well. You get me?
So, what I wanted to find out was, why, how do you get into playlists? Because, flipping it, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't know. I don't think none of the mandem knew either. On Spotify. So, it was just a thing where it was like, I'm researching, how do you get on Spotify and Google and all this stuff? Is there a Spotify playlist plug? Do you have to pay for someone to get into playlists? Do you have to like get radio play to get put on this playlist for Spotify? Did you have to be on a music channel to get onto a playlist and everything? So so there's a lot of, I was curious, very curious. And so I finally found out the answer, and then finally was able to then how to get on that song onto a playlist, got onto like 4 different playlists, and then I paid for it, and then that's an example of being curious and then finding out the answer, really. Yeah,
you found a solution you would have never found in the first place if you weren't curious to try it and be courageous to look deeper into it. So that's why it's important, because you'll find something, you'll find a solution in a better fashion, or it's just you get a thorough understanding of something. And what's wrong with that? You get me? If it's the right thing that you're curious about. So it's also the lesson of life. Be curious about the right things. You know? Yeah, I said about the tree and whatever because it was the point of my mental, but it's just, why not understand a lot of things? But also know when to allocate your time correctly to the right things. That's what it means as well. But the art of being curious, I mean, not to go on a tangent, because we'll go on to something else as well, because we've got so many good topics as well to talk about. But look at all the biggest, the people that did something in life, like philosophers from ancient times, always curious. That's how they became philosophers. Why is the moon like that? That's how they figured out most things. That's how they figured out everything.
The Greeks.
The Greeks, even the Romans, whatever it was, you get me? They figured out, why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why? And then someone just took their time to go and try it and figure it out, and then boom. So that's why it's important, because you'll get you'll get a solution you won't find if you just were going past the car. You get it? Like if you think of the analogy of there's a nice car there, like it's not something you're used to seeing or to even be around. If you go past it, you're never gonna get the answer to how that person got it. And that person and the answer to how that person got it will further you most likely, in your career or in life. So that's why it's important. Anything to add, BK, before we move on to the next thing? No. It's gone. BK's gonna be the DJ. You get me? Of picking the right thing. Whoa. Luckily still rolling as well. I'm seeing the thing. This is gonna be raw, by the way, guys and girls. It's gonna be raw in a sense of real. It's gonna be like just how it is. It's not. We're gonna. It's especially our first podcast as well. As BK is looking for it, but I'll say, if you have wisdom or knowledge, just share it. What's the worst that can happen? As we were talking about earlier, the limitation was stopping you from, talking to people. You out there. It's other people's ideas and their own opinions about you, or what you think they will think about you, which is crazy, And most people don't even care. Most people will just, even if you failed, they will just go along with their day. They don't have, you're not of importance to that extent that they will just think about you all the time. So, boom, try things.
Let's go with loyalty and your passion.
Loyalty and your passion. Okay, fair. Because we said it before. That's why you see.
Me?
No, not now. I was saying earlier, right?
Oh.
So it might seem like the energy is a bit like having a stroke, but it might seem a bit off. But it's because we already talked about it. But basically, how we put it in a simple aspect, in a simple context. So loyalty. We're talking about morals and standards of people, right? So the morals and standards of people have changed.
No. Loyalty in your passion.
Okay, first, yeah, okay. First. We'll go on to that after. So, why is it important to, why is it important to have loyalty in your passion? Meaning, loyalty itself. I simplified it as this. I won't go to anything else. I'll just say, loyalty is basically faith. Belief that something will work out. So. Someone could say, no, loyalty is this and faith is this. I understand. But life, as I said before, life is not just one thing and that's it. It's put it together. If you're clever, just put it together. Why? Because it makes more sense. When you say a career, right? And I was saying to BK, and I said on the video earlier, I was saying, when I was working in recruitment and I was seeing people's CVs, I was like, 5 months here, a year here, 5 months here, 2 years here. It's like they're jumping ship, looking for the next best thing. How do I develop? Which is, you should do that. But us as the recruiters and speaking to the employers, they were going, yeah, but where's the loyalty? He's never stuck to one company to see how it goes. So I then understood that it's the faith. You don't have enough faith to see if it will work out or not. You just jump in ship. And that could be in a relationship, right? You go, if you don't have a lot of loyalty, it's because you don't have enough faith that it will work out in the longest term. So you go and jump ship to the next person, or you cheat or whatever to see what will happen there. So that's where the loyalty comes from. I mean, even with friends or whatever, even the craft, we're talking about loyalty in your craft. So what I was saying is important about even the recruitment thing, or like, seeing the CVs, is that, if you don't have enough loyalty or belief that it will work out, loyalty in that craft, you just never know, you will never know how it will end up. So why is it important to have loyalty in your craft? Is because it will allow you to get to reach the point of mastery. Because, okay, how it came about is, I was saying to BK as well, saying, yesterday I was and we were talking about the one-to-one, right? It was in a lecture. The lecture finished, boom, and I said to my lecturer, how do you I wasn't understanding something, and he was telling me about it, and he was saying, yes, it's all these things, but the number one thing you need to understand is that you need to have faith that it will all make sense. That's what it is. So have enough faith and loyalty, stick by it enough that it will then make sense for you. That's what it means. So the importance of loyalty in your craft is that you have enough belief and faith that will work out, and then it will just make sense. You get me? What you got to say about that, BK?
I think to be loyal to your passion.
Why is it important to have loyalty in your passion, your craft?
I guess I think it also got to do with confidence, really. I think confidence comes into play with that. You could say, if you don't have loyalty into your passion, then I guess your confidence then decreases with whatever you're trying to do. I think another way to say it and kind of help you understand is probably an example. So let's just say, Rocky here is a artist. He's a UK rap artist, yeah. So maybe at the start he was going quite regularly to the studio, and then after that, let's just say he's maybe put out some tracks, put them out on Link Up TV, GIM, you name it, and the views aren't very like amazing, innit? They're quite low. So he's just thinking, am I wasting my money just going studio and then putting it up on these things, kind of thing, up in these channels? Am I even going anywhere with this, kind of thing? And it's like, it's not that he's been on a long journey. He's only been doing it for like 9 months. Do you know what I'm saying? 9 months, and then after the 9 months, he then like quits. So that's a thing where saying you gotta be loyal to your passion, because.
Yeah.
No, that is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm bugging out. Yeah, loyalty to your
craft,
loyalty to your craft.
passion,
Sorry, loyalty to your craft, your passion. So, because let's just say you don't know where it will end up. Don't know. From a year's time, 2 years. Do you know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, not to cut you off completely. I was just gonna say, do you agree with what I say about what loyalty is? I would say it's basically what faith is. I mean, faithfulness into something, having belief in it, work out and you stick by it. That's what loyalty.
Yeah, and that comes into the example of you being an artist, and then you giving up after 9 months, even though it's only been 9 months, not even a year yet. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
enough loyalty to stick to it.
Yeah.
So, as BK is saying, as an artist,
it's almost being loyal to yourself, because you're the one that's doing it, kind of thing.
It's also because you could cheat on yourself.
Yeah.
By just going, you know what? I'm gonna watch the TV instead of record or whatever it is, because you just don't have enough faith in it. Yeah. You don't have enough faith that will work out. But if you did, you had true loyalty to
yourself and to the craft.
You go, it will work out. It will work out, and you have faith that it will, and that will keep you going and keep you loyal to it. Because like I said in a relationship, I'm thinking, why would most people cheat? Of course, it's multifaceted. It's not just one thing, but you think the biggest thing, in my opinion, now that I understand, is because it's the loyalty itself. The loyalty decreases because the person doesn't have enough faith anymore that it will end up being what they imagine it to be.
Yeah,
you get it? Because it's all in our heads, really. So you go, because now you don't believe it's gonna end up being like that. Now you think, I might try something else, because now my faith and my belief is going on to something else. You get me? So that's what I think loyalty is. Loyalty overall, but in your craft, that's what it is. And especially in mastery. Because it's... How long do you think it takes to master something? Not in music, in the sense of master, like, you get me? Craft and your skill.
Probably 5 years.
Let's say 5 years.
Quite a long journey.
Let's say 5 years.
Yeah.
You have to have enough loyalty to it. Loyalty to stick to it. Because how do you reach mastery if you're not loyal to it? If you're jumping ship, it's 5 months here, 5 months here, 5 months here, 5 months here, a year here, 1 year there. You never stuck to anything, and you never had faith in it. That's why you jumped ship in the first place. So
you're not consistent.
Exactly. So to understand, what can you take as the listener? I'm trying to think, how would the listener take that? So why is it important to be loyal? Because it gives you the most results, and the biggest results anyway, because you can see, it allows you to go through, it gives you win by win by win by win, and slowly it builds up to be the biggest win. And loyalty itself, you stick to it. So you know how what's the you reap the rewards kind of thing? Yeah. It was like the fruit or whatever, but anyways, it's a different meaning. But anyways, the importance is that you need to understand, when you're going to do something, have loyalty. And then you think, what is loyalty? Because it's interesting how many people don't know what a word is, and they say it. If I say to someone, what is loyalty? Ooh, even I would my bad, but even I would have been like, what is loyalty? You think loyalty is family, right? You think usually loyalty means you stick by someone. That's what it means. You believe. You believe. Yeah, exactly. But if you go on,
I think it's also maybe right.
No, yeah, I was thinking through something.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I was trying to spit or something. You get me?
Oh.
I was like, oh.
I think it's also like almost if you don't have no loyalty to your craft. I think I already said it. You don't have any confidence in yourself.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
and it's something maybe when you go to the relationship kind of thing as well. I ain't gonna say like, well, okay, let's say we're in a relationship with a woman, and it's like someone. I don't know. I'm just thinking it like this. It's like you don't have any loyalty to that relationship. So do you have no confidence in yourself to make it go on longer?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's true because what BK is saying is very true. If you don't have what's confidence again? Confidence is self-talk, self-belief, vision, and experience. Right? That's all together. But the most important ones really in the confidence is yes, it's experience, but it's self-talk and self-belief as well. They're all important. If you're missing one, you're not gonna. Do you get it? So if you don't have confidence, you don't have that set standard to keep going for something.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be loyal ever to anything because you're scared of the situation. You think, what could happen to it? So yeah, confidence. Have confidence and have the essence of faithfulness that it will work out. And I was saying the reason why I say faithfulness is because I said the lecturer, right? But it's also religion. Religion makes it's quite interesting to me because you're believing in something, and I was saying to BK, like, you believe in something that's not in front of you, like you don't see it, like it's not something that you can just grab onto like a car or whatever. It's just it's a belief. It's actually a belief where you think it's gonna happen, and you're religious because of that. You think it's gonna happen. I believe in this one thing. I think and I was saying to BK, if you look at actually most religious people, they have very good careers. I think of Muslims. Bro, the Muslims most of them have quite good jobs. I'm not gonna lie. Even some Christians, most people in religions anyway, because I believe it carries on. You go, if I believe in this one thing that is not really there in front of me, you can't just say, God, come here. You get me? Like, you can't just, it's not something you can actually utilize in that sense. Actually utilize. So you believe in it, and you go, I believe in God or whatever. You go, wow, if I can believe in that, I can believe this is gonna work out in my career. I believe I can get to the CEO position. So I have enough faith, enough loyalty to stick by it, and enough faith that it will work out. And that's what loyalty is. So if you're at home and you're thinking, damn, like, oh, you want to jump ship, for example, you want to jump ship from a career or uni or whatever, you think, first of all, understand if it is for you. If it is for you, have enough faith that it will work out. So you go, I believe, and you envision it, and you go, I can see it. In my head, I can see it, and I believe I can get to that. And then you'll be loyal and you'll stick by it. That's what I think. What do you say? I think I summarized the point.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
I don't want to repeat myself.
No.
So,
Let's go on to the next thing.
I already said confidence.
I was saying, like and subscribe. That's
at the end.
Yeah. No, but you know what? If you write down comments, whatever, say your experience with things. We'd love to learn from a lot of people. Although we're just starting out, so it's not going to be 100 people commenting. But believe me, I feel like we always have. Well, you never know exactly. Like, you never know, right? But I believe that I know me and BK and the team, the JCY podcast individuals, members anyway, the LLB members, they will prosper and thrive in their own ways in life, because you will hear it. You just know. When you see someone that's real, you just know. I don't know how to describe it. It's not like they've done something that's real. It's usually their demeanor, their confidence. Usually, because of experience as well. They kept it real in one way or another, but you just feel it. It's an aura, it's a vibe. So I feel like you'll probably feel it with us. Hopefully anyway, you know what I'm saying?
We could, the unrealistic expectations of the grind phase. So,
I remember, yeah. Go on, G. Talk about it. You know what? Because I remember the talk we had, it was on the phone.
Was it I came up with it?
But it doesn't really matter. We were just talking about the
unrealistic expectations of the grind phase. So, the unrealistic expectations of the grind phase. Now, what's that about?
Are people realistic about the grind phase or unrealistic? Meaning, do they? Well, how do most people think nowadays? They think, oh, I can do that. You get it like
Also, the delusion.
It's delusion, yeah, as well. It's delusion, yeah.
The delusional confidence is
yeah, I guess so. But I think basically me and BK were on the phone and we always speak about things like this, just not in front of a camera. We just talk.
Hours and hours.
Hours, yeah. I thought
3, 4
hours. I thought you said I was.
No. Hours.
But there's so much information that's like wow, like I can learn. We can learn from it. But basically, I was just saying how because as cliche as it sounds, yeah. Like, you know, we're all chasing, we're now programmed to chase instant dopamine in so many ways. So it's programmed our brain to want the fast results instead of the true results that come through the loyalty and the passion in the craft and the willingness to continue even when it's slow. You get me? Yes. And that's what we were talking about, the unrealistic expectation of the grind. I think it was like even like okay, we were saying about GTA and the difference between like, but regardless, we'll get onto that. Basically, to say about why I say GTA, like the Grand Theft Auto, the game, it's like, it's basically like real life.
So, basically how Rocky explained it was in GTA. It's not like in real life. You ain't gonna go off and go.
No. What the aspect of the grind in a sense of you got experience. You get experience points as well. So you get XP, experience points, right?
Yeah.
And that's in most games. No, you get reputation points. My bad. You get reputation points. That's the GTA way of doing it, or whatever.
Oh,
but
that's it.
You get experience points in most games, right? That's what it is because you're doing something that's new, and you're now gaining the points to kind of equalize what you've done. And you go in a GTA, which is quite funny to me because here's why we said it. Because in GTA, you do what you do. Actually, how funny it is, right? I'm going on to the next thing, but so in GTA, you do a mission and you get RP or whatever, and the reputation points and the experience points. And bit by bit, you gradually get better and you get money, and then you evolve in the game. But in quite quickly, you go, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. Now, in real life, it's similar in that aspect, but it takes longer because it's how life works. And people have, now you should take that from GTA, where it's like, you got to grind, you got to put in the work, hard work. As Dice always says, it's like a friction, like putting in hard work.
Grinding.
Grinding. But shout out to Dice as well. Big X Dice on Twitch, so check him out.
Go check out his Twitch stream.
Yeah, funny guy as well. Funny
his
guy.
YouTube channel as well.
You get me? I would think he's more like the next Actual Speed, or his own thing, but in that aspect. But anyways, you'll find out once you check it out. So, anyways, and I was saying to as the Big X Dice was saying, like it's the friction, but we're saying about experience and basically the grind itself is putting in the work, but it takes time in real life because life works slowly, not completely fast. Yeah, you can do ideas fast, but the results will usually take longer. My mentor used to say it to me. He used to say, if you think you can do it in a year, add another year to 10 years on top of that, because that's just how life works. There's going to be setbacks. And in GTA though, it's the same thing. And why I like GTA, because I think it's the biggest simulation of what life is. I think the game The Sims is similar, but if you talk about what you can do in GTA, in real life you could do that. Whatever you want to do, buy the next car, whatever. It's just that it's a game. So, and then what happens is, which is quite funny as well. You think, I didn't say this to BK, but think of shark cards. You know, you can buy those cards that you can like money in the game with real money.
Oh yeah.
You go, how funny that people always try to cheat the grind.
Yeah.
Even in a game, right? You go, instead of taking the hours to play the game, let me just use my own money to get more money.
Yeah.
So you have to realize, like, in the game itself, you have to work hard to get it. In real life, you have to work hard to get it. There's an unrealistic expectation that it will just happen. Like, okay, I'm gonna do my degree, it's just gonna happen. No, it doesn't work like that. Life does not work like that. Life is much more complex than that, So the bigger and overall concept of things is that people are in a sense hustling backwards compared to hustling in the right direction, because they're chasing the instant gratification, the easy thing, the quick result, instead of going, the true mastery comes from errors, trials and errors, some successes, and a build up on that to get the experience. You get me? So that's what it means by GTA versus real life. That the aspects are very similar, but people have now took what GTA is basically, but put it in their real life, and it doesn't work like that. You can't pay. Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say you can't buy money, you can't spend money to make money, but you can't do that. That's a big concept of business anyway. But you go, yeah, like you can't just go, okay, let me do. Actually, people are willing to put in the work on GTA more than real life, and it's like, why? Because we're trying to get rid of pain, right? That's the one thing I was saying as well earlier. But like, you think, how can you put in the grind on a game, but in real life you go, that's long. You get me? Anyways, I said enough. What would you say, BK?
I think also, I'm gonna use another example. You see FIFA. Now, obviously you don't play, you don't. Well, no, Ultimate Team, and you got seasons in it. But I'll play. Let's go with seasons in it. Seasons. You start at rank bottom level.
Yeah.
Everyone else. Now it's either what's the word? It's so funny. The amount of people that's played this seasons in it. So Division, even I've played it. I'm in Division 1 now. Now you've got people that's like grafting just to get to Division 1.
Yeah.
I know someone that has like made it that's been battling just to get into Division 1, and they're still in Division 5, and it's been like a whole year. That's dedication, isn't it?
That's dedication.
That's
for
dedication.
real. 1 year.
So now the thing is, it's funny, innit? It's like when you're at the top, you try to stay at the top. Like me, innit? I'm at the top, so I'm trying to stay at the top. So it's like, it's a thing where it's like, all right, cool, I win this trophy, I win the next season, I win the next season, I win the next season, I win the next season. It's the funny thing is, now when you go to Ultimate Team, it's like, I know people spend hours on this, hours on this. There's a thing called Division Rivals, isn't it? It's the same thing, but you get money. And what do you get? You get money to buy better players, better upgrades, better stadiums. Do you know what I'm saying? So each time you get to a different level, the reward is more higher. So it's almost like they would try. Oh, and like I said, like on GTA, you can cheat to get money. On FIFA, you can cheat, like you can use your own money to get a pack and then to get money as well, kind of thing. It's just crazy how it is.
I'm gonna say two things.
Wow.
That make sense. So BK brought the idea of FIFA was very good actually, because people do Ultimate Team, all these things, right? For a year, just to then go and start again on a new game. And you go, so all that work was for what? And they willingly do that. They're willing to go, I'll start again. Now, how many people in their life go, I've done a year or 2 years in a career, and now let me try and venture out to another career and start again? People are shook to do that, but they're not shook to start again on a game. And you go, that doesn't make any sense. Do you see what I'm saying? But actually, if you're smart, you go, let me utilize that. Let me go in two ways. You can go, most people are doing that, so I'm always not going to have less competition than I actually think of. But second of all, you go, if I'm doing that for a game, let me do that in real life. Let me go, if I'm starting again on something, on a career. Now, why it makes sense, because it doesn't mean jump a career to something that's completely different. Yeah, you could. But you go, in my sector, let me go to another company that's way better. Or let me go to a position that's a bit higher than what it is, but I'm still in the same sector. But I'm doing something bigger than that. I'm starting again. And I don't have fears like I do. You get it? On FIFA, you don't have fears. And why would you have fears in real life? And then the second thing I was going to say, so that's the number one thing I said, right? About in FIFA, it's quite crazy how people will start again on a game, but they won't start again in real life. Now you got to do the opposite of that and try things, right? And know that, you know what I'm saying, you can go again. You can try things again. It's quite crazy. It's entrepreneurial, actually. But the funny thing is, before I go into the second point, it's entrepreneurial. Think of it. You're saying you're doing Ultimate Team, yeah? From scratch. And you got to hustle in the game to make a better team. And now you're starting again. That's an entrepreneurial spirit. Anyways, but the second thing I was going to say is, about the GTA example, I get why we said it now. I really get why. Why is it the same versus real life? When you grind in the game, you make money. To do what? Buy the house, buy the car, buy the clothes. What's the same thing in real life? You made the money to do all these things. But also, you gain experience points. You get experience points to go and level up. In real life, your experience points comes from experience, actual doing things. And the better you get, the more experience you get, the more rank you get, the more status.
Yeah, and another thing, when you get more experience points, it unlocks other stuff.
Lots of other stuff, exactly. So you got to utilize that thing. Basically, life is GTA, but they made it in a concept where it makes sense. We just don't think of it like that. You go, I need to get more experience. How do I get more experience? In GTA, you do more things, you do more missions. So more missions in real life is more qualifications, more in my work, being curious, trying things out. And then you level up.
Yeah, another thing in GTA, when to do more missions, you meet new people. And it's the same thing you need to do in real life.
You got to play with other players. You can't start, missions are not by yourself.
Sometimes they're big. They're the big boys as well, innit? So.
And sometimes it's random players.
Random.
So in real life, you need random players. You got to make friends with them. And once you make friends with them, they help you get the bigger. Because sometimes some friends can't help you in missions or whatever. You get me? I haven't played the game in a long time, but I remember it from young. Some players can't help you with things, so you get other players that help you with cheats. Or no, let's forget cheats, but heists and stuff like that. You get me? When I say cheats, I mean because not many people know it. But the other people know it. And that's actually real life as well. You go, the other players, some players in life have cheats. They have knowledge that not many people know. So they're elevated because of that. You get it? And you're utilizing their knowledge. That's what it means. You get me? And that's how you level up in real life. To have experience, networking, all these things. So, what I learned from Mike Tyson's customer, the trainer, but also my dad as well. He said, like, you always kind of want to take an example out of everything and utilize it. So when you look at a game, don't just look at it as a game. Look at it going, how can I utilize this information to better my own life? Like the GTA thing, not many people think like that. But then if you utilize it like that, you think of it like that, now you can utilize that information to make it what it is. You get me? Because now you go, so how can I utilize that? So where am I at in real life? Let's say I'm at level 10 right now. I'm not really at high level. How do I get better at doing what I'm doing? More missions. And also, one thing I'll say, people are willing to risk in the game and not in real life.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that.
No, it's true. You go, so you're willing to risk, and forget the criminality, the criminal stuff. It's the aspect of things. You go, how are you willing to buy that house in the game to try and to see what it looks like, but not in real life to see what that would happen? It's crazy. But regardless, right? Have a if you're gonna look at life, I know people say the Matrix and all them things. I get it though to some extent. Andrew Tate, that's where they got it from really now. But I watched Matrix years ago, like when I was really young. But anyways, people have the Matrix and they think of that. I think of it as GTA. It's easier to think of it as GTA. Because it makes more sense because it's more realistic in my opinion than just the Matrix. Yeah, we live in a lie where they say in a lie, and what I mean by that is like they program you to think one way, 100%. But in GTA, what I like is because you make your own wealth. No one gives you £1 million. And when you do get £1 million in the game, I remember when I didn't play it for so many years, I jumped on it. It was like Rockstar gave you or gifted you whatever it is, you get it, 1 million or whatever. And I was like, that's what you call the lottery. What, are you gonna wait on the lottery? No, you make it happen. And you make it happen by taking the risk, and you get me, and utilizing that. So if you think in GTA you would do it, why would you not do it in real life? You get me? It's why. Not enough confidence. Confidence is low. limitations. You're allowing everybody to speak. It's like in GTA, if someone says to you, "Oh, why are you gonna do that mission?" Da, da, da. You might actually not do it, but most of the time you'll do it because it doesn't. You get me? Don't do that high. It's hard. It's hard for you. I might be able to beat it because I have a competitive spirit. You get me? And then boom. But anyways, that's what it is. So I hope you learned something from that. Anything else, G? Have a look to see on the topics. Or even like, have you got anything else to add to that about the GTA or FIFA or treating life a bit like a game? And actually, we kind of we went on a tangent on that side, but it's more we're talking about the importance of hustling and why people are hustling backwards. What's the importance of it in a sense? Well, I think that's one of the things we wrote, right?
Yeah, true.
The unrealistic expectation of the hustle.
Yeah,
You get me?
And then the analogy of
GTA versus real life. Yeah. So most people, why it makes sense is because if we take it back, if we're using that example of GTA, yeah, why does it make sense that most people don't have? I mean, most people have their unrealistic expectations.
Say that again.
So we use it, even forget GTA and all these things. So why do most people have the unrealistic expectations? We didn't really say on that, but we said like unrealistic expectations. But why? And also, how can you overcome that? If you have an unrealistic expectation of the grind, meaning that you know
what you want quick.
Yeah, you want quick money, and not just that. Also, you're not understanding how life works of the grind itself.
I don't think we actually even discussed that, did we?
No, we didn't really do that, but at the same time, we could see it for the viewers. You get me? Why do we have the unrealistic expectations? I kind of said it earlier, like instant dopamine, like quick things.
Oh, wasn't it something? I think you also touched on not being able, not wanting to take the risk in real life, but taking a risk in the game.
There you go. That's very true.
Yeah.
Because we have an unrealistic expectation of the grind, meaning we, not us, but I mean most people do because they go, it will just happen. You know what I'm saying? It will just happen. Like if I stay in this one career, I'm gonna get the riches. No. Well, do you just do one heist? No, you do many. Do you do one mission in GTA? No, you do many. In real life, you have to switch. You have to do things. You have to maneuver. That's the realistic expectation. Meaning, you're not always gonna get it from one avenue. You might have to try different avenues.
Because it's not always the same mission. You gotta do different ones.
Yeah, man. That's what it is. But yeah, let's see. Anything else? No. We'll go jump on the next thing. Pick something exciting, something that you think is like, yo.
Some here we got don't tell another lion how you eat.
It makes sense. So what Beacon just said, don't tell another lion how you eat. Okay, this is more of a, because my dad is always telling me as well, be wary of people, right? So we had a talk yesterday where it came up. How about you explain it? What would you say? In the bigger concept, in the bigger concept of things. Never let a lion know where you eat.
Alright, so the way I was saying it was, there's so many concepts of it. So one was, you know how, fear, limitation, this is another concept of it. So let's just say, you tell someone, about like what you do and all of this stuff, and there's another thing where it's like, so they might, it's weird, they might bring you down on it. So they might try to poison your mind with fear, like I said, and then what they might do is take that idea for themselves, kind of thing. So that's one of it. But I'm telling you, it's happened. It has actually happened. It's happened before.
I think one thing that's the one thing you have to learn as a human being, we're all human beings, right? As the viewer at home, we are all animals. This concept of humans is that we're animals, but we have a concept that because we're so rational, we're so good. It's not true. That's the reason. If you didn't have laws, murders would be skyrocketing. Murders, just everywhere. Selfish people take from you.
Yeah,
oh, what you got there? Let me grab it. Because that's, and it's not about a robbery. I mean, robbery as a concept is different. It's not just snatching someone's chain or something. It's you're taking from someone. You get me? And you go, how many people in the business environment will take from? A lot. Yeah. And but the thing is, so basically I was saying about the animalistic side of things, right? Us humans are animals. It's just that we're sophisticated animals. You get me? At that point. So if you allow someone to go back to their natural instincts, it's to be selfish, because that's how we survive, right? Yes, cooperation, helping one another helped us survive as well, which is both. But even if you had your group, you're taking from other groups to help your group. Mm-hmm. So it's still selfish, but you're helping your I was gonna say your team or whatever, but anyways, like your people. You get me? So as Beaker was saying, don't show or don't allow another lion to understand what you're eating. You get me? Because they'll come back. Most of the time, they will come back and they will eat what you're eating and they'll take from you. You get me? So you have to be wary of who you
leak information.
Yeah, who you allow access to.
Yeah.
Because it's true. It's just even like, I think going back to the GTA concept or life. Mm. Okay, it's like how funny, right? There's a website. I forget even GTA. But there's a website called Z Library, the one I was telling you about, where you can download loads of books, textbooks for free. Mm-hmm. Someone snitched on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
They downloaded what they needed to download and snitched, and then the FBI jumped on it. Not jumped on it to take the books, jumped on it to get rid of they arrested the people that did it, that done the website, because they allowed another lion to go where they're eating, whoever done that, whoever showed that other person on TikTok where they got it from, and that person now, maybe it wasn't out of envy, but it just came out of, why would you to show it to everyone? Mm. You get it? Like, if you know it, you know it, and who knows it, knows it. But that person then, I'll probably just back there, but that person then created a whole issue out of it. So, yeah, if you're doing something that's very successful, be wary, because some people are not there for cooperation; they're there to take. You get me? And that's the big thing that you just gotta be wary of. I mean, overall, even if you think of animals, like that's what we're saying about lions, right? Because a lion will kill another lion if it has to, and if the lion will
threatened.
Not just threatened, if it feels like it will benefit their tribe, or not tribe, sorry, their pack.
Yeah, their pack. Yeah.
You get me? Their group. If the lion feels like that animal there, that other lion, let's say itself, will be beneficial because we're starving, it will go and eat the other animal. Actually, sometimes they kill their own.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's a whole different thing. But you go, and you can learn from that. You can learn from everything, because we're all animals. So you go, if the lions are doing that, trust me, human beings are doing something similar. But because it's not morally right, they're doing it in a private way, in a very indirect way, but they're getting the same results. Believe me on that one. So be careful who you allow access to in your circle to see what you're doing, your success, and who you're allowing to eat with you. You know, because that's something you have to be very, very careful of, because it could either go really well or really bad. One of the two. It doesn't really go in the middle. You get me? In that sense. So yeah. Anything else to add to it, G?
Probably to say, for people that know too much information, it leaves you open quite wide. So it's like they could like attack you at. Oof, I can't lie. It sounded like a gang talk. It's not. I'm just saying in general.
You know what?
They can attack you at any angle, kind of thing. That's why it's like certain information you can say, certain information can leak out. But I think if you're trying to build something, you gotta be wary of people, because they may try to either end it, take it, or just take it over, kind of thing. That's one thing you gotta be careful of. So I'll go on it again. So yeah, just be careful of the information you do leak out. 100%. I had something else in my head.
You have to also think, sorry to cut you off, G, but I think it will help you understand that as well. It's like, you know, when you hear it in history where someone had loads of information and then someone just took the information and wrote a book about it or something. They took the information and then they acted like they said the information.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're gone, and now the person has tried to say, no, I'm the original founder. No. Yeah. Who's to say that?
You know what? You know what? That what was it? Line? No, don't tell another line how you eat. It can go into business as well. Copyright. Put copyright.
Put a copyright. Exactly.
Trademark.
Be clever. Understand have barriers. Yeah. Because in business, I'll show you my idea. You take it. Yeah. I'm fucked. You get me? Like, it's just what it is. Like, you're gonna just take my idea. Yeah. But also, okay, I do a clothing brand. You do a clothing brand. Okay, and we don't know each other. Yeah, or let's say we're just strangers. Yeah, or we're friends, not really like close. Yeah, and now I show you my supplier. Is it wrong that if you took my supplier, or you now worked with my supplier and now you got the same? Do you get it? Is it actually wrong? There's no such thing as such. Yeah, there is things as wrong and right, but in that sense, that's not wrong. But it's just that you now took my idea, and I can't do nothing about that. You get it? And it's like that's what you gotta be wary of, because now you took my supplier. You get me? It's one of them things, because we try to be nice usually, and we don't understand the player that we're playing with. You get me? That's the thing. It's like even in games. It's like what's the number one thing that you see? What's that game where you're running around and you're killing the people, and you got they go on group call or whatever, that you're like in a spaceship and you kill one another, and then it is like anyways, it's that game where you go on speaking, or you type it and you say, I'm not the killer. It's
Spit, no.
You know it if you've seen it.
Yeah.
It went famous in like last year.
I must have been playing it as well. I can't even.
Yeah, no, I think everyone played it. It was so big. Yeah. But regardless, it went to show like how people lied, how they were able to lie so well. Yeah. And you go, what? If you're able to lie that well in a game, well, in real life you can't do that, bro. This is real life. Yeah. You get it? So you gotta be wary of that, because you gotta be wary who you're playing with. Because sometimes you're with the killer and you don't know you're with the killer. Yeah, literally. You get me? So going back to it, be careful where you show your stuff. Be careful who you allow in your circle. What information you're giving, and to who. You get me? Because someone can literally take your idea and utilize it for their advantage and then leave you behind. They can do that. There is nothing wrong with that, quote unquote, because do you get it? Like, that's how life works a lot of the time. So be wary of that. Boom, bless you. Anything else? Next thing, well, I don't know how long we've been rolling for, you know.
Don't know.
I think I'm losing my mind.
Alright, embrace the loneliness of the journey. It won't always be surrounded with the people you need.
Okay, so that was an important one. So you have to embrace. Okay, what would you say on that? Because I sent it to you about embracing the loneliness of the journey. Because you're never gonna be always surrounded by your people.
Don't be dependent.
Yeah,
that's one thing. I have to say that to a couple.
Let them know.
Yeah, I have to say that to a couple of my boys. I said okay, cool. I don't want to use him as an example, but all right, cool. Jugs, innit? I told him on the weekend. I sat him down. I was like, bro, I love you like a brother, innit? But I swear down, you can't be dependent on my man, because you see, it's like when people have other stuff going on, I understand, or they might not. They're not gonna be able to do it for you all the time, innit, kind of thing, innit. And I've learned this like from teen now to now, innit. Like, it's a good thing I've learned from a young. So then I'm like, I'm not really dependent on. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've learned. So it's a thing where, as I said, look, I can't lie. You gotta learn how to do this. You gotta learn how to do this, because if you've learned these skills, you don't even have to worry about him coming or be dependent on that person, because then it's just like you're able to do it for yourself. if you have a schedule, you can do it on time as well. If you get what I'm saying. So that's that's a thing that will come where you have to embrace the loneliness. I think another thing is probably to say, what's the word? You won't always get supported. You won't always get supported on like a belief on what you're trying to do or something like that. You won't always. I've learned that now. Luckily, that man has my man next to me. I've got the other lot. They seen what man can do. Dangerous.
Yeah,
Dangerous. So it's a thing where it's like, yeah. So you gotta also realize that you won't get a lot of support in it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to.
Even when you have support, though.
Huh?
Even when you have support, they can't take your hand the whole journey.
Yeah.
So you gotta learn to develop that.
Dependent.
I was gonna say independence, but like slight loneliness, being able to
Lone
wolf. To some extent. But that's what I'm saying about life, right? It's not about one or the other.
Yeah.
It means sometimes you gotta be lonely to go and achieve things because they can't help you, and sometimes you gotta just cooperate and cooperate with people and allow them to help you as well, and be helped. In that sense.
If you're able to adapt to each situation, you're dangerous. I'm telling you that now.
That's the number one skill. If you can adapt.
Yeah, if you can adapt to each of those situations, you can adapt to being alone. If you can adapt to being in a team, etc. You're a dangerous person, and you will thrive. That's one thing I'll tell you there. Even from experience, I'll tell you there. Yeah.
100. Because you know what it is. It comes down to. So if we talk about the embrace the loneliness, right? If you think of it, when you're studying, for example, it's you.
Yeah.
There is no one else. You can study with other people, but it's you. It's your journey. You get me? So if you don't embrace it, then what are you gonna do when you got to do something by yourself? That's why I was saying before, the confidence. You embrace the loneliness when you're confident. And you're loyal to it. You have faith in it. It will work out, so I can do it by myself. I don't need my team to push me. Yeah, you should have your team, but I don't need them to push me all the time, because there's times they're not. The easiest way to put it is you get in a boxing ring to fight, MMA gym to fight.
One-on-one.
It's one-on-one. The coach can only do this, do that, and then it's your choice if you want to do that. And if you want to listen, and if you are going to do that, if you're disciplined enough to do it. That's something I admire a lot about BK. It's the discipline. He will do it even if if he puts his mind to it, he will do it even if the others are not on the same road. Which is something, how many of us can say willingly, I would do that? It's tough. It's not easy. But that comes from deep confidence. Deep confidence to believe that he can do it and have enough faith in it to keep going, as I said before, but they're so important to understand. So embracing it, and how do you embrace the loneliness? I mean, actually, the simplest way to put it, like war, right? You think of the end goal and thrive based on that idea, So it's like when you're thinking about, when you're doing work, yeah, or you're telling Risky, you're saying to Risky, yo, about the music. Like, how are you pushing yourself to keep going?
I would always say, I always will remember like what people said. So I always have that in my mind. Maybe some things that I've gone through. So it could, what's that word you say? When you've gone through something, and it could be some emotional kind of thing. And it's like, bruv.
What how many words?
You don't even remember what you need to start remembering your own sayings, because you're a philosopher. You're a philosopher. You need to remember these. Alright, so something tragic that's happened, didn't it? I said you need to remember those times, and then it's like you never want to go.
Oh, okay. If I got one from David Goggins where it was like, you need to have a cookie jar full of. You have to have a cookie jar where it's all of the bad things you went through that you overcame, and utilize that. Now, it's not the exact thing I probably said, because you can tell from the expression, but it's something that you can utilize as well when you're going through it. That's what I use sometimes, When I'm going through it, or I'm writing something, or I'm doing something that's long, I go, yo, but you done this. You get it? Like, I've done, like, you get it? Like, to yourself, you go, I done this and overcame it. You get me? And I've done this and overcame it. And I go, wow. Well, I faced this. I faced it and overcame it. So if I can do that, I can do this. So that's something that also will help you in your lonely journey. Sometimes you'll go, I've done this before, which was harder, or was as equal, or seems to be as equal or harder, or it's harder overall, and I overcame that. So I can utilize that when I'm pushing forward on my own journey now. That's the one thing as well. But also, I was saying as well, like, about the end goal. But you need to have a vision, a mission of what you want to accomplish. And that will actually motivate you to push through the hardship of being by yourself. Because, for example, if you've got kids and you're doing work, but you remember what you're trying to get for them, you're not going to think you're lonely. You're going to think always of them. Actually, it kind of brings them into your head. It kind of makes you not lonely anymore. Yeah. Because you think, wow, I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for them. And then you get there. So, yeah, embrace. So the importance is that the important thing is that you should embrace it. The overall, the concept of loneliness.
Remember your purpose.
There you
that's
go.
It. Remember your purpose. And that's what I tell to Risky. You got to remember your purpose. You got to remember everything that you said with the man them or with your family, your mum, your grandmother, of what you said. Oh, I want to get this, I want to do that. And also another thing where it's like, I've said this before, like when we used to rap, I said, you gotta stick to the action. Don't say a lot. Stick to the action. That's one thing, innit? Because you say la 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 la. You're just a talker, and being a talker ain't really good. You're just gossiper. You're a waffler. Don't want to be a waffler. You want to be an action man. You know what I'm saying?
That's from a very disciplined individual. So take the advice.
Yeah.
Take the advice. It's true.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm saying. Embrace the loneliness, because I guess one example is, you know, when you got an assignment due and it's like, it's due tonight.
PTSD. I'm having now.
It's due tonight. It's like, fuck. It's like, alright, cool, let's get into it. Just have to get into it.
All night.
Yeah.
You get your bag out.
And then, boom, submitted. And you're like, oh, well, shit, on to the next step.
Because as BK was saying, you realize the mission, and the big goal is in your head. This will get me further in life and closer to the bigger mission, to the biggest mission overall. So you go, but this is the little mission in front of you. You get me, or standing in the way. So I've got to do that. So you have to embrace it. If you're going through something right now, and you're like a soldier, you got to embrace the journey, because you're gonna reach it if you stick long enough with it, and you're gonna see your comrades again.
Yeah.
You get me? You may be going through the desert storm, but at the end of it is your comrades. You get me? And whatever goal you want to achieve. The result that you want to achieve. So that's the number one thing. So if you're always like, you're always looking for the guys or the people around you to help you, you're never gonna thrive, because life is lonely as much as it is with people. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, life is as lonely as it is when you're with people. You get me? Because the career, who's doing the career for you? No, you are. So who's helping you self-improvement? Probably you, because you're the one that's gonna have to be lonely to reflect on it. You know, all these things. So it's very important. That's the number one thing. We'll go on to the next thing anyway. Anything else to say?
No.
Like and subscribe.
You just say that after each topic.
Yeah, we'll say that after each topic. Like and subscribe. But no, honestly, people, like, this is the first time. No, we've done the podcast episodes with in the JCY podcast. Yeah. It's always still a new experience for us to talk on a camera like this, because we're always talking and giving off a lot of wisdom, especially business stuff. So if you want to learn more business stuff, we will go into it. This is more in general. We have more topics that we talked about earlier, but we might not even get onto it today. It might be even, you get me? Or it might be a part 2, just split.
I think we'll settle this one the last one should be why it's important to change, especially with the times. Why it's important to act your age most of the time.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking rap. Oh, excuse my language, my French.
It's all good, it's all good. Parlez français.
Yeah. Pourquoi?
But, yeah, so basically, why is important to adapt? I think it's the last one you're saying.
Yes, the last one.
Yeah. And then next time, you know what I'm saying?
We'll go to the other ones that
we did discuss exactly. So, why is it important to change and adapt? And also the second part of that one thing that
why is it important to act
your age? Yeah.
For the most of the time.
Yeah, for most of the time. So I was saying basically in the earlier talk that why do I wear the chains and all these things? And I was saying to BK as well, I was saying like why? Because my dad put it into perspective now, and I understood it when I seen him. So I go, I'm young, and I go, what should a person my age be doing? And I go, and also I don't do exactly what everyone else is doing our age, or even BK doesn't do everything that other people do at our age. Otherwise, we'd be way behind. You get me? More compared to most people. But regardless, it's like if you're in between the age of 20, or even like when you're younger, but let's say 20 to 24, I think, or 25. I think this is the times where you should gradually start maturing more and more. But it's a time where you should wear the chains. You should wear, you get me, jewelry to flaunt it, or it's for yourself more than showing off to people. Although it is an aspect of showing off to people. Whatever you do, the nice car, whatever. Why? Because you're only as young as you are then, you know. And what are you gonna be? You get me? Are you gonna wear the chains at 32? No. I mean, you could, but that's your thing. You get me? I mean, I think at 32, I would say, you know, you want to be wearing a suit all the time or formal a lot of the time. Yeah, you can be, you know, casual as well, but casual in the right way. Casual of nice casual shoes with a nice t-shirt or polo top. That's still casual. Casual smart, they could say, but still casual.
Yeah.
Not big graphic tee. You get me? Like t-shirt with, I don't know, some gang stuff or whatever, because you think it's cool at the time.
West Side.
Yeah, West Side or Tupac or something. Is that you okay? You should have done that when you were that age, yeah. Not when you're older. You get what I'm trying to say? So, why is it important to adapt to your age as well, and also with the times? Because first of all, it's a good part of life to do that, in my opinion. To kind of, it's the beauty of life. What, you're gonna be 20? Are you gonna try and act 20 when you're 32, or 22 when you're 32? You get me? Or act 32 when you're 22. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, doesn't mean don't think ahead. Don't think be clever, or don't be you get it, old fashioned to some extent. I think you should be old fashioned in a way of, what's old fashioned anyway? Like loyalty. Like instead of going out all the time partying, sometimes sit back and just read. Or some people say that's old fashioned. I don't think it's old fashioned. I think it's smart. You get me? BK is not a big clubbing person at all, really, which is, it's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I say to BK sometimes though, let loose a tiny bit, because I think you're only as young as you are today. You're never gonna be, you get me, as young as you are today. You're always gonna get older and older and older. So you go, you get me? I think that's why, even forget the chains and what you wear. It's also, you know, try things out. Go traveling or clubbing for a bit. Not all the time, excessively. That's stupid. But you should do that. What, you're gonna club at 32? Like, I've been in a club before where there was a 42-year-old. I'm thinking, like, don't you have kids at home? Yeah, they do say you should. People are so weak. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, they go, but what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with what?
What's wrong with a 42-year-old in the club?
What, with teenagers?
No, like, yeah, you get it. Like, we've lost. Like, I'm, you get me, in my 20s, and I'm going, wait a second, there is something wrong with that, because I don't think that should work in life. You get me? Now that's my opinion, but in my opinion, I would say he's right in that sense of maturity. You know, because I thought the only people you see that are 42 in the club are people that didn't live out their youth correctly. So now they're chasing. That's what my dad said to me. My dad said, if you, there, basically he had Rolexes and stuff, right, when he was young, and I was saying to you, but he said, what's the point of me wearing the Rolex now? I'm older. I don't need to show off to anyone that I've got a Rolex. I wear my Casio. You get it? Whatever it is, some dead watch. Because all I need to know is the time. When I was young, it's different. Because when you're young, you want to show that you're young by your youthfulness. You get me? But adapt to the times. Adapt to the age. More than just the times and the scenarios. Adapt to the age. Because if you adapt to the age, you adapt to the times. And if you adapt to the times, you adapt to everything else. For example, as well, if you're 22, if you adapt to the age, you'll think youthful. You think outside the box. You get me? Doesn't mean later on, 32, now you're rigid. No. It just means that you think more maturely about things. You think about things thoroughly. You go, I have responsibilities. Let me think like that. So that's what I think as well, right? Overall. Because if you don't act out your age now, the way you are now, you're going to try and act upon it later on. And it's backwards. You get me? They say age backwards, but that's not aging backwards. That's being stupid. You get me? In my opinion.
I think, when going back into the clubbing thing where, like, what did you say, 36, 42?
Like 42, yeah.
Yeah, but now if you look at, what's it, that Anna, what's wrong?
No, I was thinking about an experience. No, basically, I was saying to you before, like it must have been a 45-year-old that approached me, and I know she smiled at me, so I smiled back. You get me? And then she came really close to me, and she was showing me something on her phone, and she was like, "Are you a dirty boy?" But I was a bit of a mischief. But I said, I got closer to her and I whispered to her, I said, if you play your cards right, you're going to find out. You get me? And I was like, and then I realized, wait a second. You get me? This is hell. You get me? I'm getting myself to hell. This is what I'm bringing myself. And then she showed me she was like, this guy that I was speaking to, he left me, like, or whatever, like, he doesn't like me anymore. And I said, what you get me? What do I do with that information? I'm my counselor. You get me? But I was like, damn, that's someone's mum, maybe. That's someone's auntie, someone's
sister.
Yeah, whatever else. But she literally said, I will always remember it. Why? Because it was my birth. No.
It was on your birthday.
No. Yeah, it was my birthday. It's my birthday. I remember because I met I was with Tex. And some of the girls and one of the girls and whatever
loves clubbing.
Loves it. You get me. But shout out to Tex as well though. He's finished his degree, you know. But
he's finished already?
No, he's finishing it.
Right.
But I meant cold. But regardless, right? I looked around like I'm with young people, young because they're my age. Oh, actually, a few older anyway, but only a few years older, not a big deal. You get me? And I'm talking to a 42-year-old or whatever, 45. It was like older. You can just tell. And I was like, damn, you taking an L today. You get me? 2 losses by a rejection. Mad. Imagine that at 45, I want to be chilling in my nice house, hopefully with a family. You get me? Adapting to the time. Not me going, let me take... I think it's weird as well. It's going to be controversial, yeah. But people that take their mums, like girls that take their mums clubbing, you know, with them. I've seen that on videos, not in real life. I was like, well, I would be confused. I think I'd lose brain cells. You get me? But I was like, how are you comfortable doing that? You're bringing your mum clubbing with you, like, and why is the mum okay with that? You get me? I don't know, innit? The world is backwards. That's what I know. The world is just lost their minds. You get me? Lost the plot. But anyways, I've said enough. BK, what do you think about it? Adapting to the times, the age. No. Maybe by the way, BK don't have to... We agree on a lot of things anyway. But if you have anything... I always say to BK, if you think of anything that's different, I say to everybody, if I'm wrong with anything or you think the opposite, let me know. And then I'll know from it. You get me? That's something you got to learn to do. To accept that you're not always right about things. And I'm not always right about things. But you have an ideology that should be able to shift. Anyways.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I think, like when you said about the clubbing, innit? Yeah, I don't like clubbing. It's not like I have experienced it, but I ain't never going to do it again.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But no, going on to the clubbing thingy and the 36-year-old or whatever, I was just saying, now if it's like a club like, you know, the Annabelle Club.
Yeah, the one
that one there.
Annabelle's different.
That one there, it don't matter. If you're that person, you're like not even. If you're in Annabelle, yeah, if you're in Annabelle, different. Absolutely, it don't even matter what age, innit? But Yeah, that's one club. Me and Rocky's trying to.
Yeah,
so if
if
anyone knows,
anyone's in Annabelle's,
like, I'll just
don't let me get Annabelle's onto you. You get me? I know it, you know. I'm joking. If anyone knows Annabelle's, please let us know. You get me?
Yeah.
Let's do a business negotiation.
Yeah. I've got one suit there, got a watch there.
Trust
got
me.
Shoes.
We can talk well as well.
Yeah, we can
Monsieur,
talk. Yeah.
you get me?
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Yeah, bonjour.
Bonjour.
You get me?
Bonjour, monsieur. Mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle, is it, madame? Yeah, hey, madame.
Is it not mademoiselle?
Hey, mademoiselle. As well.
Oh.
I said,
I was just making
I
up
said it in
words.
French. Hey, madame.
Oh, madame.
Hey, madame.
Yeah.
Must be
Pourquoi?
French as well.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah. Comment tu te portes?
Comment ça s'appelle? Yeah. Tudo, oh, so I was supposed to speak Spanish. Bilingual. Tudo bem? No, I mean, that's Portuguese. Tudo bem?
No, ask your name.
Oh, no, that's tudo bem. As in, like,
No.
All good?
No, comment tu te portes?
oh, yeah, comment tu t'appelles? Yeah, exactly. That's what's your
No.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said tudo bem.
To the
Confuse that enemy. That's what they say. Confuse the enemy.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless, adapt to the times. You get me?
Yeah. I think another thing where it's like, nah, man. I don't. They say, what would they say? It's old fashioned.
Like if you don't go clubbing, you're like if I'm reading,
Rubbish.
or like that's what some people my age is what they go. I think I like sometimes they I think, oh, do they think I'm boring? I'm like, but I'm not boring at all. If you understand my lifestyle, I do things that are fun. Like me going to the museum, that's cool to me. Like I was saying to BK, like me and BK went to the museum for the first time together in what was it called? The English Museum? British Museum. Yeah. And it was cool. I find more excitement in that, to understand history.
Bro,
and all these things that
found out about army didn't even know existed.
Exactly, things that make sense.
What? I was like, I started trying to do research on Google when I got back to yard.
Curiosity, there you go. I've been
It's
curious.
like, I just like war. Actually, that sounds nuts, isn't it?
No, it's true. No.
I like war.
I like war.
I like
You get me? It's the concept of war.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
like
mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset. Life is war. We'll go on to that next time.
Yeah.
Life is war.
Next episode.
And trust me, you don't want to miss out on that one. Why? Because we know a lot about war.
Yeah.
Especially, you get me, reading about Napoleon, Frederick the Great, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, even Hitler. Sounds mad.
Yeah.
Find out next time. You get me?
Yeah.
What else you got to say? Anything else about adapt to the times? I think that's mainly it, really.
I think that's really mainly
Yeah.
it, really. That's mainly it, really.
To summarize it, it's more. What would you say? I'll say in the meantime. What BK
Wait,
thinks.
is it adapt to the times?
Adapt to the age.
Oh,
Yeah.
adapt to the age.
yeah, my
So
bad,
not
but-
the times.
Yeah, so adapt to the age, but with that you adapt to the time. Because
'Cause
they're both equally important though.
Yeah, because I remember when we were speaking on the phone for like ages, and then we were saying like we don't want to stay the same every year.
No, exactly.
We want to be, at least when it comes to the end of that year, be different, like, and then go into the new year with that with that new something in it. That extra little
there
something.
There you go. Exactly.
So,
You always want to come out of the end of the year or the year, like even the next birthday, and you go, how much have I grown?
Yeah.
If you don't even know what you've done, what did you do? You never adapted to anything. You stayed the same.
Yeah.
Actually, pardon me, the one thing that I learned through one of the guys I know, right? He cuts my hair. He's my friend's friend, but he's my friend now, regardless, right? And he makes quite good money as well because he owns the barbershop and it's a franchise or someone else's anyway. But I used to say you're either progressing, or you either progressing, stagnant or regressing, meaning you're forward, staying the same, or backwards. But he's then said to me, he went to a conference with all the business guys, yeah? He was like, but technically, there's only progression or regression. Why? Because if you're doing the same thing over and over, you're technically staying behind. Because you're thinking you're doing something that's the same, but everything's going ahead, forward, and you're staying behind.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
So if you don't go forward, you're always staying behind. And I was like,
you're not even staying in the same place.
Now-
You're getting taken over, kind of thing.
yeah.
Like
And why that's important as well to understand is, before that I said progression, stagnant, regression. He now taught me a lesson, and I embraced that. I'll go, that makes sense. That makes more sense than what I said.
Yeah.
You know, don't have an ego where it's like, have enough ego to have confidence and believe in yourself, but always be humble enough to take a real lesson in. And that's the number one thing as well. So yeah, adapt to the age. You know, when you, by the end of the year, you go, yo, like I've done a lot, I've changed a lot, you know, and you understand where you went wrong, where you went right, all these things, and you adapted to that. Now, if you're 22 going to 23, you're 24, 25, whatever, every year should be different. Every year should be a level up. You might go from 22 dressed as more casual or more streetwear to now 23, 24, you get me, as the age go by, and now you're getting more formal. And that's changing. Your demeanor is changing. The way you talk, the way you talk, your tonality of things are different. You know, you understand things much better. It should actually make more sense that every year goes by, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more you're adapting to that age and that style and that time. And you changed because of it. So remember that as well. So when you're, whatever age you are, you think, I might act in the way the age is meant to represent me. You know, that's one big thing as well. Is it wrong or right? It depends how you see it, yeah? But you want to do things that are that age, so you don't do it later on, you know? Like, is the wrong thing is to go, I'm not going to go clubbing at all. You know what I mean by that is never experience it, because I'll do that later on. You go, but what, you're going to be 32 in the club? Because you said, I'm going to grind my years out and never ever go out, never do this, never do that, so I can do that later. Done. You get me? In my opinion, it's stupid. Now, someone might think that's right. I don't think it's wrong anyway. I think it's wrong. I got it from one of my mentors where he's so wealthy that I always say he's so wealthy because I just how I see things. And he said, you want to have an interesting life. We'll go on to that another time. There's an importance to that. But remember that. You want to have an interesting life, not just a good life in a career. An interesting life, memories, experiences. But anyways, yeah. I think we said it all. I mean, we got more on there, but next time, you know what I'm saying? We can't give it to you all. I don't even know how long it's gone on for. Maybe like 3 hours. I just don't even know. Regardless, we'll break it up.
Oh shit, it's 5:08.
We'll break it up anyway, you get me? But hey, no, because we've done the first one, and then that was a while, and then we lost it. Anyways, we talked a lot. I hope you don't like it. BK, Rocky. Check out my brother. You get me? Check out JCY's podcast, and that will be out soon as well. They're just editing it. Big X Dice, Twitch.
Yeah. Check out Risky's music as well.
Check out Risky's.
That's one of our big bros.
Big bro, exactly. Also Kenji. You'll find anyway. Yeah, exactly. Kenji. Check Kenji XP.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I figured that you're right. Yeah.
Also look at Maverick's books on
exactly.
Instagram.
Maverick's books. Maverick with books.
Maverick with books. That's
exactly.
it.
Maverick with books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wisdom on there as well.
Check out what else? Who else is there? Check out actually there's nothing else.
Yeah, we said JCY. Boom.
I mean, the other stuff that I'm thinking of, they're not even launched yet, so I can't even say.
Wait, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But check us out. You never know.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you will know.
Yeah, you know.
You will check us out. You get me?
You will know.
And as I said before, the last thing I was saying about like the realness of people, right? It's like you will understand when you hear us and you see us and you talk to us, even in real life. We're not the same as many other people. Now, that's not me being egotistical or BK or anyone in the team. It's just you'll know. Because when you speak to so many people and you network with so many people, you get to understand. This makes sense. That person's different. How that? And it correlates. You get me? So yeah. Like, subscribe. It'll be out somewhere. We don't even know the name yet. We're just action. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a lesson itself. You know what? I'll give a little snippet of something I learned in war from Napoleon. So, and actually, I got my job saying this as well. Or not just saying this, but we might just go more into it of war next time, right? But Napoleon said it was about strategy, and he said, attack first and then strategize. Now listen to what I just said. Attack first and then strategize. Meaning, if you're too strategy, you're gonna limit yourself by being paralyzed by choice.
So undecisive.
Undecisive. There you go. You're gonna be undecisive. But if you attack first, you get to understand where the momentum is going, and from there you can strategize to make a whole new plan based on that. So in life, and how I got my job interview is, I mean, how I got the job in my job interview. I said to the guy, so I gave him that, right, and I said, so how did you learn how to get really well in recruitment? He said, I just picked up the phone and I called. It wasn't like I made a plan, pick up the call. And I said, oh, so that makes sense. Because I said, what I said to him was, what would you have done? That's something as well we'll teach you as well. When you ask for advice, you say, what would you have done? Because we're all selfish. Anyways. But I said to him, what would you have done to make your success quicker than what it is now? And he was like, instead of making all these plans and strategizing and I would have just picked up the phone and made more calls. Pick up the phone because it's experience. We strategize, you're never going to get the true experience because it's all theory, right? And I said, interesting. And that's when I said about Napoleon, actually. I said, oh, I get it. So thank you for giving me the advice as well. And I said, I think it's like what Napoleon said. So you attack first and then strategize. And then you get to understand where you're going to move from there. And that's actually better. So if you're going to, for example, if you're at a university, if you're going to do an essay, don't think too much. Just start. Start even for an hour that day and then see where you go from there. See what the page is saying in a sense of the wording, where it's going, and go from there. Boom. Like, subscribe, and yeah, check out everyone's stuff.
Peace.
Peace.